Morning, Bev Hepting here, Message Maestro. Once again, popping into your live feed because you know me, consistently inconsistent. And I wanted to come in and talk to you about presentations. Now, I spent a lot of time with people on elevator pitches, and those of you that I talk to have done the webinars, done the coaching, any of that sort of thing. There comes a point when you have to elevate your elevator pitch, if you like, to a presentation and present. And let's talk about the difference between your elevator pitch and your presentation. You think it's obvious. So your elevator pitch is introducing you to people. It's explaining the problem you solve. It's good morning, Tracy. Good morning, Hannah. It's a snapshot, if you like, of what's to come and why people need to work with you and why people need to contact you. So then you go on to the presentation bit. So if you're networking, often you'll be asked to do a 15-minute or in some cases 30-minute workshop presentation thing. And that's when you take that elevator pitch, you imagine you've got this little tiny sort of rubber band that's just, and then you spread it out, you make it bigger and longer, because the message has to stay the same. It's still the problem you solve. It's still that thing that you're going to get knighted for at the end of your life. You now need to fill in some of the gaps and join some of those dots for people. So your presentation is going to be much more about why the problem has to be solved, how the problem can be solved. Okay, so it's the why and the how. So people now get something from you that they can take away. But you have to be a bit clever, because we must never forget we're business people. And the whole point of what we do is for people to buy. We are lovely people, and we women are the worst. We want to give away, we want to love, we're people pleasers, we're all of this. But we have to really sit firm and remember this is a business. And you are the expert who will help somebody else solve that problem. And they need to pay for it. So when you're doing your presentations, what you're actually doing is giving them a taster, a little bit of something they can take away and try that says, oh my Lord, that works. I need more of it. I need it more intense for me. Or a lot of stuff that I do when I do presentations can be quite generic, and I'll talk a lot about things like messages and why and emotion when you're speaking to people and that sort of thing. But people would need to work with me directly for me to be able to talk about their business. Now, I happen to know that Tracy codes and creates websites for people. So it's highly likely that Tracy could do a presentation on why you need certain things on a homepage, or what a website can do if you do certain things. But actually, you would need to work with Tracy on a one-to-one to get that website exactly the way it works for you and your business. So it's a balancing act between giving stuff that is freely available, if you like, and holding the best stuff back that is your sales stuff. It's like we clean the house in our tatty old clothes, and when we go out and present to the world, we're all dolled up with the makeup on. It's the same principle in a way. So presentations are really about giving people a taste of what they could learn and giving them some things that they can implement themselves that would work. It's about giving them that information. Now, this is the important bit when it comes to presentations. People shy away from presentations for all sorts of reasons. One, that they hate the idea of standing up there and speaking. And the other cases, it's they don't know how to tell people what, it's just too long and they don't know how to fit it all in. Well, we're back to when I say you can't put everything into something in one go. It would take you too long and it's too overwhelming for your audience. So you have to learn how to create a presentation that people can accept that they get and that doesn't pull the pants off them. And I'm sorry to tell you that, but let's face it, so many presentations are so boring. And we all jump on PowerPoint like it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. And when it came out, it was for people doing presentations. Morning, Shira. It was, but PowerPoint is no longer that. Well, it can be an amazingly useful tool, but it gets overused and people rely on the PowerPoint to give the presentation. They hide behind it. They use it as a shield, so they can almost step back and people can just look at the slide and try to read the words and all of that sort of thing. It's like somebody came up with this idea that we would create a presentation. We had all the script, we'd then put the script onto slides, then we'd go in front of an audience and read the slides, having given those slides to people. That is such a waste of your time and your energy, and a disservice to the people who are listening to you, because you might as well have just emailed the slides to them and say, have a cup of tea and read it in your own time. But people have got up and they've come out to listen to you. So no pressure. I'm not I'm making it really hard for you all lot now. But what you have to understand is actually presentations can be fun and you can have fun with them, and it doesn't have to be this ordeal that you think it is. I'm a great believer in the power of pictures to hammer a point home. And you know me, for me, it's all about simplicity. It's about looking at words and going, actually, can a 10-year-old understand what I've just said? Or I have known presenters not understand a word of what they're saying. 9 times out of 10, that's because they picked it up from somebody else, and it's a standard presentation that the company does, and it's sort of created to fit everybody. Well, you can't do that. Presentations have to be unique to you and the message you want to give on the day. And you can't give everything to everybody. So if you're going to do a presentation, especially when you're networking, so let's stick with networking for now. You're going to give a presentation. Pick a couple of things that are really important for an audience to know. So if I do a presentation, and those of you in SWIB know, I tend to go to every SWIB group at some point and do a presentation on speaking. And I concentrate on that thing about understanding your message, what it is you're trying to say to somebody, and what problem you solve. So I take that out further, and I talk a lot about why speaking is so important, how people hear you. I talk a lot about that emotional connection, and people need to understand your message in really simple terms and all of that. But I'm not going to go over the whole thing and talk about video and podcasting and how you use your voice and breathing and getting. I stick to a couple of things because they can follow that. Then if they want to know more, they're going to come and talk to me. If they want to know more, they're going to join the Active Speakers Club. If they want to know more, they're going to pay to solve the problem they have. So it's like picking out the juiciest thing. Think of going into a restaurant and the cook has deliberately wafted the best flavors and smells so that you go, I'm going to sit down and buy the whole menu. This is amazing. And that's what you're aiming at. That's what you want to do. And if you do have any questions, don't be afraid to type them there and I will try to answer them for you. So your elevator pitch is there. You just gentle introduction, who you are, what problem you solve, talking to them from an emotional level so that they're sitting up going, that's me, I need that. Then we go into the presentation. You've been asked to do 15 minutes to 30 minutes. So you pick 1 or 2, never more than 3. There's a power to 3. I don't know if you all know the power of 3, but it's a human thing. It's a magic thing. I don't know why it works, but it does, because we DNA to understand 3. We're born, we live, we die, we have breakfast, dinner, tea. everything's in threes, and once you go into four, it becomes a list, and we turn off. So never more than three. So 1, 2, or 3 things that you are going to concentrate on, that people can take something away and do, that shows your expertise, that helps them understand the problem can be solved, but it can only be solved by you. So they are left after this presentation going, that was amazing, loved the slides because it wasn't full of words, it was pictures. It was, if I'm talking to people about the fear of public speaking, I'll put a picture up of a quivering wreck in a corner and then a picture of somebody being very confident, because that says a lot more to somebody's brain than me trying to explain a process from terrified to triumphant. And in some ways, it's the same with you. It's pictures. Pictures paint 1,000 words, or 1,000 words, I can't remember the same. So don't write everything on a slide, because there is nothing more annoying than trying to read what's on a screen. And people like me who have different glasses for different things are trying to find the glasses to read what's on the screen, and then realize it's in front of me. And I've stopped listening to you by this point, and 99% of people will have. The reason behind this idea that we have to put everything on the slide that we are saying stems from that thing around everybody learns in different ways. That's where it stems from. So people believe that people can read it because that's how they accept information, or they can listen to it because that's how they accept information. Individually, that works perfectly. So if somebody couldn't come and they received the information, could read it, and that was their way of learning, that's fine. And equally, if someone's giving a talk and people like to listen, they're auditory learners, that's fine. If you put the two together, you just create confusion in people's minds. We can't seem to do both from a learning point of view. The brain is warring with itself because we all have a bit of all of it in us. So pictures work better. If people get the slides later, then they can fill in the gaps themselves and read it and sort of redefine that learning. And people who are listening to it have got all that information, and they can add the layers later. And I hope that's making sense to you. It's quite a psychological thing when you're doing presentations, because so often people stand up and just throw information at us as if it's vital we have all of it. And we can't deal with all of it. And bear in mind, we're not in your culture. We're not in that sort of thing that you work within. See, I'm even losing my words now. You have to be able to give us that information in the simplest way possible so that we get it. So those of us that may not be in your industry get it. So, alternative health type people, doctors as well, have very long words for the things they do, but they don't mean anything to the rest of us. But telling us you can help our emotional pain or our physical pain or something like that in very simple words, we go, well, that's what I want. I don't understand the rest. That's what I want. An accountant hurling those big accountancy phrases at us and laws about VAT and this, that, and the other isn't hitting us, but telling us that we need to get our finances right, because if we don't, something bad might happen. We go, all right, I get that now. And you obviously understand what you're talking about, and you understand me. So that's how it all works. And it works the same in presentations. It doesn't change. It's the same principle from your elevator pitch to your presentation. So that's what I want you to think about. And those of you that have never done a presentation, I want you to go out there and grab it with both hands and do one. Say yes. Even if it's an unmitigating disaster, you have to start somewhere. And so often people don't just start. And if you want to know any more about presentations, then you know where I am and you can ask me. And I am actually doing an online course, 21-day thing around presenting with power and passion. So you'll find that on the website, all the W's, hepting.com, and it comes under programs. You can have a look at that. And I just urge you all to take that step now, to go from your, because it's part of that journey. And you want to tell people how brilliant you are, and you want people to know how brilliant you are, and you don't want to bamboozle them with such complicated information. They go away feeling stupid and thinking they can't come and talk to you because they don't understand you. So remember that thing I always say. It's not about you, it's about what you can do for other people. And if a 10-year-old can understand it, that's perfect. It's not about being patronizing and dumbing it down in that sort of treating your audience as stupid. It's just about simplifying the language to fit the message, to fit your audience. So I hope that's helped. And I am here if you need me. So I'm going to say goodbye. I'm off for a green tea today. I'm at the SWIB Green Tea and I'm doing my TEDx. I'm doing a TEDx next month. So I'm practicing it on them today to get their feedback. So I'm looking forward to that. So hello, Alison. You just missed everything and I'm not going over it again because it became a bit of a rant, really. Okay, so have fun, people. Have a great day and I will talk to you again soon. Bye.